Wildly the horse careered, and the waving dark hair of the boy tossed. His eyes had a strange glare in them. The little girls dared not speak to him, and all of a sudden something different happened to his body physically, and these girls felt a bit scared, and they did not muster up courage to feel like talking to their brother. When he had ridden to the end of his mad little journey, he climbed down and stood in front of his rocking horse, staring fixedly, means in a confused way. Regularly he looked into the horse's, its lowered face, means horse's lowered face, its red mouth was slightly open. All of a sudden he found that the horse's mouth was a bit open, and its big eye was wide and glassy bright. All of a sudden the horse's eyes were shining brightly. So now he would silently command the snorting steed. Steed means horse. Snorting means when the horse is breathing heavily. So this is snorting horse. Now take me to where there is luck. Means he has been presented by the writer in this chapter. He has been presented as if he was talking to his horse in this way, in such a stout way that, oh, means he seemed to have given command to his horse, take me to the place, take me to the world where luck is there, take me to the world which can bring me luck. Now take me, oh horse, take me there. And he would slash the horse on the neck with the little whip he had asked Uncle Oscar for, and he knew the horse could take him to where there was luck if only he forced it. He forced the horse. Okay, so he would mount again. He would climb the horse again and started on his furious ride. He started means would start on his furious ride, means blind ride he had on his horse, because he was just lost in his own world, that he had to be lucky, hoping at last to get there. Get there means get to the world where he proved himself a lucky person. He knew he could get there, and he was confident also that his horse would successfully lead him to the place. You will break your horse, Paul, said the nurse, means the caretaker said, Beta, please don't sway this horse, don't play with this horse in such a blind way. You may hurt yourself, you may fall down. He is always riding like that. I wish he would leave off, said his sister John. One of his sisters was John, and she is telling the nurse that every day the same thing happens, so you need not worry about him. But he only glared down on them in silence. He did not say anything, but by and by at his sister and the nurse, but he did not say anything, he did not speak anything, but he glared his eyes at them. Nurse gave him up. Nurse gave up her efforts, and she left. She could make nothing of him. She could not understand the boy and his tactics. Anyhow, he was growing beyond her. Actually, she was not able to understand what the boy was up to. Okay. One day, his mother and his uncle Oscar came in when he was on one of his furious rides. He did not speak to them. Means he was lost. In this way, he was swaying on his horse. I want money. Oh horse, please take me to the world where I can get luck. I can be lucky. So he was lost. And when the boy saw his mother and his uncle Oscar in the room or in the hall, in the nursery where he was playing, he was riding on the horse, so he did not feel like anything, but simply he had a look at them. Hello you young jockey. Jockey is a successful horse rider, right? Hello jockey, riding a winner. You are just riding your horse in such a way that you are just going to be lucky, you are just going to be winner, right? That's why the chapter is the rocking horse winner. Okay, you are, said his uncle, aren't you growing too big for a rocking horse? You are not a very little boy any longer, you know, said his mother. So the mother says that, aren't you growing too big for a rocking horse means you are too big for this horse to ride on it, means only young children are supposed to play with this horse. You are not, she is saying, you are not a very little boy and any longer, now you are a grown up person, you know. So dear child, it doesn't suit to you, suit to your personality, you know, said his mother. But Paul only gave a blue glare from his cool glare he gave to his mother with his big, rather close set eyes. He would, as if he was thinking something, he was profoundly thinking something. He would speak to nobody when he was in full tilt, when he was in full mood of riding the horse. His mother watched him with an anxious expression on her face, and now she was also growing a bit anxious about her son. What wrong was there? At last he suddenly stopped, forcing his horse into the mechanical gallop. Gallop means a style or the speed, stylish speed of the horse. When it is walking, it is running fast. This is galloping. And he all of a sudden stopped his horse and slid down, means he came down from the horse. Well, I got there, he announced fiercely. Now he is telling, yes, I got to the place where luck is there, where I found myself lucky. His blue eyes still flaring and his sturdy long legs, sturdy, very strong legs, straddling apart. Straddling means whenever somebody is putting his legs while sitting on the horse, one to this side, one to this side, in this way, with a distance between the legs, this is known as straddling apart. Where, so in this way, keeping distance between the legs, because he had just come down from the horse, so he was standing and he was in this way interacting with his uncle and mother. You are saying you got to the place, where did you get to? Where? Asked his mother. Where I wanted to go. Actually, I got to the place where I wanted to. So he flared back at her with bright and shining eyes. He once again looked at his mother. Oh, that's right, son, that's right, said Uncle Oscar. Don't you stop till you get there. Means when you start riding your horse to the place where you want to, so in between, do you not feel like stopping? What is the horse name? Okay, beta, so what do you think? What is your horse known as? What is your horse's name? What is the name of your horse? He doesn't have a name, said the boy. Actually, uncle, I have not given him any name. Yes, he is just my friend, so I don't know what his name is. Oh, gets on without, all right. Means without having his name, you are just riding it? His uncle asked. Well, he has different names. Actually, uncle, my horse has so many names. Yes, in my imagination, my horse has so many names. So, any fixed name, specific name, I cannot tell you. So, well, he has different names. He is saying he was called Sansovino last week. Actually, last week, my horse was known as Sansovino. His uncle was surprised. He exclaimed now, Sansovino? Are you talking about the horse which won the Ascot? Ascot is a kind of race. So, are you talking about that race competition in which the horse Sansovino won the race? How did you know his name? So, dear child, you are just a child, but you are telling me the name of the horse who really won the race. So, how do you know? He always talks about horse races with Bassett, said John. Means his sister is saying, uncle, every time I have found my brother talking about this, and every time he is found talking about horses with Bassett. The uncle was delighted to find that his small nephew was posted with all the racing news. His uncle was very happy to come to know that his nephew, means Paul, knew everything about the horses. Very important information he had about the horses. Bassett. Who is Bassett? You may be asked in objective type questions or any very short answer type questions, right? So, please write it down in your copy. Bassett. Bassett is the young gardener, okay? Oscar is uncle, Paul is son, John is sister, right? So Gardner, who had been wounded in the left foot in the war, ex-army man, Bassett was an ex-army man and had got his present job through Oscar Creswell, whose batman he had been. So actually he was assisting him also, and when he lost one of his legs, Uncle Oscar helped him get a job, right? So was a perfect blade of the turf. Turf means the ground of horse race, right? He lived in the racing events. So this Bassett was also found every time in the race, right? He lived in the racing events and the small boy lived with him. So Bassett was almost found in this field. So was the child also, because the child liked the company of Bassett. Oscar Creswell got it all from Bassett. Master Paul comes and asks me. Now he went to him, he asked about him, then he says Master Paul comes, and because he was servant, he was in their servants household, so he was telling him, Master Paul comes and asks me, so I can do more than tell him. I am helpless. Whenever he asks me anything about horses or horse race, I have to tell him. Okay. So, sir, said Bassett, his face terribly serious, as if he was speaking of religious matters. Actually, he was hesitating and he was a bit scared also. And does he ever put anything on a horse? He fancies, means he imagines, means does he ever put anything at stake, means to put money on any horse in the horse race? Well, I don't want to give him away. Actually, I do not want to lose him. He is a young sport. He is a rising star. Fine sport, sir. Would you mind asking himself? Why don't you ask himself? He sort of takes a pleasure in it, and perhaps he would feel I was giving him away. Sir, if you don't mind, sir, please go and ask him. You yourself go to him and ask him everything. Bassett was serious as a church. This is just a phrase, means he was looking grave, very serious he was looking. The uncle went back to his nephew Paul and took him off for a ride in the car. He said, yes beta, yeah, dear Paul, would you like to have a car ride with me? Let's have a long drive. So come with me. So he took him on a drive. Okay, say, Paul, old man, do you ever put anything? The uncle went back to his nephew and took him off for a ride in the car. Say, Paul, old man, do you ever put anything on a horse? The uncle asked. Yes, old man, he is calling his nephew, because actually he is not old, he is just a child, but he has got that much experience, right? So that's why he is just. So he is saying, have you ever put anything on the horse race? The boy watched the handsome man closely. Handsome man means this uncle. Why do you think I ought not to? He parried. He said, why do you think I should not? Not a bit of it. I thought perhaps you might give me a tip for the Lincoln. Now, uncle is asking, no, I am not saying that I should not ask. Actually, indirectly, I want to say that I want your suggestion, because now I am going to put a bet on a new horse, and that is Lincoln. Lincoln is the next horse. What was the previous one? You know? So, the car sped on into the country, means rural area, countryside, going down to Uncle Oscar's place in Hampshire. Honor bright, said the nephew. The nephew is saying to his uncle, uncle, promise me. Honor bright is the phrase, and it means promise me. Actually, he wants his uncle to make a promise that he would not share all these things with anybody, right? Promise me, said the nephew. God promise. God promise? Uncle is saying, God promise, son, God promise, said the uncle. Well then, daffodil. Okay, uncle, God promise you will not share it with anyone. So uncle, please do not put money on Lincoln, but you should put money on different horse, and that is Daffodil. And surely he is sharing clairvoyance. Clairvoyance means a kind of premonitions, divine premonitions one get, clairvoyance, right? So, uncle, better you put your money on Daffodil this time. Daffodil, I doubt it. Sonny means dear son, I doubt it. I am not sure whether this Daffodil, who doesn't seem to be better than Lincoln, so it would be beneficial. What about Mirza? Then uncle is asking the child, okay, let me not put anything on Lincoln. Then what do you think about Mirza, another horse? I only know the winner, uncle. Who knows about the winner? Me. So just say what I tell you. So just put your money on Daffodil. Neither Lincoln nor Mirza. I only know the winner, said the boy, that is Daffodil. Daffodil? He is still confused. There was a pause. Now nobody was speaking. Daffodil was an obscure horse. Nobody was sure about the horse comparatively. Comparatively means in comparison with Lincoln and Mirza. Uncle, yes son, you won't let it go any further, will you? I promised. Bassett. I promised Bassett also. You won't let it go any further. You won't lose anything. Bassett be damned. Old man, now he doesn't like this man. So he is saying, stop talking of this damn man, old man. What has he got to do with it? Why are you using the name Bassett when we are conversing like this? So we are partners, uncle. Let me tell you very much frankly that Bassett may be nothing for you, but he is too much for me. But how? Actually, he is showing that we are business partners. Satire, comic is there. We are partners in the race. We have been partners from the first race, uncle. Uncle, he lent me my first 5 shillings which I lost. I promised him, God promised, it was only between me and him. Yes, I promised him that I would not share this thing with anybody. Only you gave me that 10 shilling note, I started winning with, so I thought you are lucky, you won't let it go any further, will you? Now the boy is saying that I said you will not be at a loss if you put your money on this horse. The boy gazed at his uncle from those big hot blue eyes set rather close together. The uncle stirred, moved a bit and laughed uneasily. He was not feeling comfortable, uneasily. Right you are, son. I will keep your tip private, means I will not share with anyone. Daffodil is the horse now I have decided to put money on, right? Hey, how much are you putting on him? Now uncle is saying, okay beta, you have advised me to put money on Daffodil, but will you please let me know how much you are ready to put on this horse? All except 20 pounds, uncle. I have decided to put 20 pounds on the horse. I keep that in reserve. So uncle, I had kept this money on reserve. The uncle thought it a good joke. Uncle thought that the child was joking. You keep 20 pounds in reserve, do you? You young romancer. Are you sure you have got that much reserve? What are you betting then? Okay, you have got very good, very handsome amount in reserve. So please tell me how much you are betting then. I am betting 300. What? 300? Said the boy seriously. Gravely means seriously. But it's between you and me, uncle. Make a God promise. You will not share with anyone. So between you and me, Uncle Oscar Honorbright, promise me. God promise. The uncle burst into a roar of laughter. He was double with laughter. It is between you and me. All right, you young nut girl, means using the naughty child. Yes, okay, I mean it. This is between us, he said, laughing. But where is your 300 pounds? As you are saying, you are going to bet 300 pounds. So where are your 300 pounds? Bassett keeps it for me. Actually, I don't keep money. I keep my money with Bassett, my partner. Okay, so he keeps it for me. We are partners. You are you? And what is Bassett putting on daffodil? Okay, you are putting 300. Then how much is your partner, so-called partner Bassett, is putting on? He won't go quite as high as I do. Actually, I have put 300, so that is for sure he would not bet more than 300. Right? I expect. Perhaps he will go 150. I have put 300, so I think, I hope, I expect that he would bet 150, just half of it, on the daffodil. And okay, what pennies? Laughed the uncle. Pounds. 300, what do you mean? And what do you mean 150? It means you mean to say that you are going to bet 300 pennies? Means sub currency. Okay, and your Bassett is going to put 150 pennies, because it's of no use talking about pounds. They hold too much significance. So he just made a joke. Pounds, said the child with a surprised look at his uncle. No, uncle, stop talking of pennies. I'm not like that. I'm just talking about 300 pounds and 150 pounds for my partner. Bassett keeps a bigger reserve than I do, uncle. I keep only 20 pounds in my reserve, but Bassett is not like that. Bassett keeps more money in his reserve. Right. Between wonder and amusement, Uncle Oscar was silent. He was speechless. He was spellbound. He had no words to speak. He pursued that matter no further, but he determined to take his nephew with him to the Lincoln races. So at the time he did not feel like anything. So he decided to take his nephew to the Lincoln races, means horse races. Now son, he said, I am putting 20 on Mirza and I will put 5 on for you on any horse you fancy. But beta, I think I must put something on Mirza. So I am going to put 20 pounds on Mirza. But you are my nephew, so I am ready to put 5 pounds for you on any horse you imagine. What's your pick? So the child is saying, uncle, let me repeat, daffodil. No matter you are going to put money on Mirza. Mirza, once again let me tell you, is the name of the horse. Okay, so he is saying, I won't force you to put anything on daffodil, but as for me, just put this so-called 5 pounds from my side on daffodil. No, not the fiver on daffodil. I should, if it was my own fiver, said the child. He is saying only 5 on daffodil. No, no, no. The child is saying, if I were you, then I would. Good, good. Right, you are a fiver for me and a fiver for you on daffodil. Okay, okay, beta. You are saying, so 5 from my side and 5 from your side on the same horse daffodil. The child had never been to a race meeting before. This was the first time the child had been to the race course. Okay, and his eyes were blue fire. He pursed his mouth tight and watched, means very seriously. He grew serious. He grew grave when he was watching the race, because it was his first time while being on the race course. Right? A Frenchman just in front had put his money on Lancelot. This is another horse. Lancelot, while with excitement he was, that Frenchman was very much excited and he flayed his arms up and down, yelling. Yelling means shouting. Lancelot, Lancelot, means when they all were watching the horses and all the horses were running the race. So different people, whomsoever they had put money, they were calling out the names of those horses. Lancelot, Lancelot, in his French accent. He was being French, so he was using French language. Okay. So, and Daffodil came in first, Lancelot second, Mirza third. It means the child Paul had got very true clairvoyance, prediction, premonition about this horse. So, as the boy had predicted, it proved true and Daffodil won, came in first Lancelot, this Frenchman's horse, Lancelot stood second, and Mirza, whom uncle was going to put money, he stood third. Okay, the child flushed and with eyes blazing was curiously serene. Serene means quiet, very peaceful. His uncle brought him 4 5-pound notes. 4 5-pound note means 20 pounds. Okay, 4 to 1. This was the bet, 4 to 1, right? So means this is a kind of bet. If I won, I will give you 4 times. For 1 pound, 4 times. So he had put 5 pounds. So naturally the boy had won, the child had won. So he got 20 pounds overall. What am I to do with these? Means these pounds? What am I to do? Means the child is asking, what should I do with this money? Waving them before the boy's eyes. I suppose we will talk to Bassett, said the boy. But now he is saying, I think I should talk about this money with my partner, Bassett. I expect I have 1500 now. Now I have got overall in my reserve, I have got overall 1500 pounds now and 20 in reserve. Means 1500 I can use 1500 pounds on any race, any time. And suppose I get a loss, I lose the whole money, still I will have at least some pounds, and that is known as reserve. So 1500 I am ready to use anytime, and 20 pounds I have kept in reserve. And this money and this 20, his uncle studied him for some moments. And how about this 20 pounds money? Look here, son, he said, you are not very serious about Bassett and that 1500, are you? I don't think you are very much serious about your 1500 pounds which you have kept with your partner Bassett and 20 as reserve. So I don't think you are serious about him and your money. Yes, I am serious, uncle, but it's between you and me, uncle. Honor bright, promise me it is between you and me. Honor bright, okay, got promise, son, but I must talk to Bassett first. If you would like to be a partner, uncle, with Bassett and me, we could all be partners. Only you would have to promise, honor bright uncle, not to let it go beyond us 3. Bassett and I are lucky, and you must be lucky because it was your 10 shillings I started winning with. So uncle, just make a promise, and if you really want to be our partner, then we will be 3. This is trio partners, right? And since we have, every time we have one, means I and Bassett. So next, the third one you will be, but just keep a promise. Keep your promise you have just made to me, and you will not share with anyone, right? So Uncle Oscar took both Bassett and Paul into Richmond Park for an afternoon, and there they talked. They spent their afternoon over there with one another. It's like this, you see, sir, Bassett saying, sir, it's like this. Master Paul would get me talking about racing events, spinning yarns, you know, sir, and he was always keen on knowing if I had made or if I had lost. It is about a year since now that I put 5 shillings on Blush of Dawn for him, and we lost. Then the luck turned with that 10 shillings he had from you. Uncle, sir, in the very beginning we lost, but with the money, 10 shillings you gave once, so we put that, and since then we have been winning, we have been earning only. It has been pretty steady. Regularly, continuously we have been earning money, all things considering. What do you say, Master Paul? Yes, Master Paul, am I right? That we both, means Bassett is asking the boy, me and you, we have been making money, we have been minting money, we have been winning. He is asking Paul. We are all right when we are sure, said Paul. It's when we are not quite sure that we go down. Means whenever we are sure, we put money, and whenever we are not sure, we do not put money. But still, if we are forced to put money when we are not sure, obviously we have to lose. Oh, but we are careful then, said Bassett. But when are you sure? He is saying, but we are sure, surely we are careful then. Once we are lost, we become careful enough. Then the uncle is asking, when are you sure? It's Master Paul, sir. Means whenever Master Paul is sure, we put money. When Master Paul is not sure, we do not put money. Okay, said Bassett in a secret religious voice. It's as if he had it from heaven, because every time I have to follow Master Paul's clairvoyance advice, because I think he gets everything from God. God tells him to put money on this horse, on that horse, and not to put on this horse or that horse. So everything whatever he tells, I have to follow. Heaven means God. Like daffodil, now for the Lincoln, that was as sure as eggs. This is just a phrase and it means for sure, come what may. Did you put anything on daffodil? Asked Oscar Creswell. Yes, sir. I made my bid. I made a lot of money. And my nephew, means Bassett is saying, I made a lot of money. And how about my nephew, Master Paul? Bassett was obstinately silent, looking at Paul. He was not sharing anything on his behalf, so he looked at Paul. Now Paul is saying, I made 1200. Didn't I, Bassett? He is saying, I made 1200 pounds from daffodil. I told uncle I was putting 300 on daffodil. Now I have told Bassett, I have just told my uncle that now I am going to put 300 pounds on daffodil. That's right, said Bassett, nodding. Nodding means in agreement. He is just jerking his head in agreement. But where is the money? Asked the uncle. You are saying you are ready to put 300 pounds on this horse, daffodil. So now let me know where your money is, where your whole so-called 300 pounds is. 300 pounds money is, okay. So I keep it safe, looked up, sir. Be careful, uncle. I have just kept it safe. Master Paul, he can have it any minute he likes to ask for it. Now Bassett is saying, whenever Master Paul requires, he will tell me and I will give him that money. What? 1500 pounds? Means you will give him 1500 pounds. He really has 1500 pounds money.